Place your bet, you jackwagons. Brother Big Noise Evans here on a solo mission edition of the Fade 5 podcast. And happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I hope you're going to tear it up with your family and maybe a little deep fried turkey. I am going to cash the over. I think the number set at 2.5. Twice baked potatoes, though it's heavily juiced on that over, like minus 10,000. That's going to happen. I'm probably going to eat an entire 5-gallon pail of green bean casserole as well. So again, enjoy the caloric intake, enjoy the gluttony, enjoy the football, enjoy the round ball as well. And on this abbreviated edition of the Fade 5 podcast, let's go ahead and honk, hop aboard the plus bus as we always do. Got to get you some Turkey Day plays so you don't have to pay most of your attention to Aunt Irma and her inane commentary that she's always tossing out every Thanksgiving. So plus 100 odds or greater, that is a requirement. And let's go with a little Black Friday special, shall we? And I'm going to go with Caleb Williams and my Chicago Bears. Take it off. Fly, Eagles fly. I say Caleb Williams scrambles for at least 25 yards. So for him to get to that threshold, plus 104, little baby seduced by the juice there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Why do I think this is going to come through? Yes, I understand Philadelphia is number 3 in the NFL in rush EPA defense, but they have given up the 9th most quarterback rush yards this season at 29.8 per game. Also really dial up the heat, 22.1% of opposing quarterback dropback. So you know what Caleb Williams loves to do. He will read, he will react, and he will call his own number and take off. The guy has got some scoot. Now, 4 quarterbacks have gone for at least 25 rush yards against Philly this year. And you look at Caleb Williams, he's calling his own number 17.2% of the time per game, averaging 5.1 attempts per contest, 5.23 yards per carry, and 26.6 rush yards per game. He's gone for at least 24 in 4 of his last 5, so he can get that extra tick and keep the trend being at my friend. I say, hell yes, he can. Call your old damn number, Caleb Williams, and take off and get 25-plus rush yards. Do that in the city of Brotherly Shove, and I cash in at a plus 104 there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Before we get to the abbreviated countdown, a friendly reminder, go to thegamingjuice.com, you jackwagons, and sign up for a free account. All of my fantasy football rankings ahead of Week 13 are live on the site, constantly updating throughout the entire week and a long and extended weekend as well. I only wrote one Fantasy Flames piece, but I cover every single position in it. So some guys that are understarted in Yahoo leagues that can maybe shine brightly and help you get over so close to clinching a playoff berth in your fantasy football league. Check it out. It's live on the site. The college football forecast for Week 14, a rivalry weekend from Matt Fortuna, Ben Wittenstein, and Nate Jacobson, also live on the site. You want to ask me a question? You can. Click Ask Brad at the top of the screen. Fire off with your question, and I will get to it at my leisure, at my convenience. Again, live on the site and all free. So go to thegamingjuice.com, click, converse, and cash, ... maybe. All right, numero Trace here on this Turkey Day edition of the Fade 5 Countdown. I'm going to go with Christian Watson, who I think is going to have a little bang, and a bang again in the box score. Could be a couple of explosive pass plays, and that should propel him to the over at 50.5 receiving yards. Grab that. That was free, transparent, and public spreadsheet, which you can also check out along with Nate Lundy's there at thegamingjuice.com. Of course, taking on Detroit. And he hopefully he's going to earn all the turkey legs here to minus 115. And I grabbed this at BetMGM. Look at Detroit, middle of the pack in drop back EPAD at number 17. Look at how many wide receivers have done this against him this season. 11, as a matter of fact. They good up the 12th most wide receiver yards in the NFL and he's going to see a lot of Terry and Arnold in primary coverage. That is a mighty fine and wonderful thing because Arnold this season has given up 15.3 yards per catch and the 12th highest number in that category. He's also top 25 in most yards surrendered of any defensive back in the National Football League. I know Watson's tucked under this prop, but just barely in 3 consecutive games, though he is averaging a healthy 4.3 targets per game, 2.25 routes run per game, and an outstanding 22.6 ADOT, and also netting 16.7 yards per catch. So I think this has got like 4 catches, double nickel written all over it. At least may find the end zone as well. Strong WR3, I feel, in 12-team leagues this week. So number trace on the Turkey Day edition of the Feed 5 Countdown. Give me the over on Christian Watson. 50.5 receiving yards in Detroit at a -115 at BetMGM. Numero dos on this short edition of the Fade 5 podcast. Let's go with Rashee Rice. Yeah, serve up the side of rice with your Thanksgiving Day dinner. I love him to have the most receiving yards in a game with a whole lot on the line, not only for Little D, but also for KC. Both these teams desperately need a victory to get back on track for their playoff hopes. So Dallas are really surging at the right time. Still, I think Rice, baby. Boom, 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 boom. That is going to be the theme song in this one. I believe he will be the box score leader in receiving yards and get some Cowboys plus 265. Y'all roll the shoulders and get seduced by the juice there at DraftKings Sportsbook. You look at Dallas. Yes, I understand they're improving, but ever so slightly on the back end defensively. They're still number 27 on the season in dropback EPA defense. They've still given up the 6th most wide receiver yards this year. Got to get a lot of Reddy Stewart there in coverage, and he's given up an 88% catch percentage out of the slot this season. So Rice, this could be like a 7-8 catch kind of game. Also like the over on receptions, by the way, on the 6.5 number. And you look at Rice in terms of what he's done this season, top 15 in yards per route run, top 25 in total yak. And remember, he missed a few games. He's gone for at least 80 plus in 3 of his last 5. Of course, CeeDee Lamb. Yes, George Pickens are going to push him in this category. But that secondary KC, far more established and far more unrelenting compared to Dallas. So give me Rashee Rice, most receiving yards in the game at a plus 265 at DraftKings Sportsbook. And numero uno on the Turkey Day edition of the Fade 5 Countdown. Yeah, naturally, it's got to be a tight end against the Bengals, right? Give me Mark Andrews, anytime touchdown against those so forgiving Cincinnati Bengals and DBs at a plus 115. And I grabbed this there at BetMGM. Cincinnati dead last in dropback EPA defense on the season. And this is what they have given up just to the tight end position. 6.9 receptions per game, 87.5 yards per game, and 1.2 touchdowns per game. So Andrews or Isaiah Likely, one of those two guys going to score. By the way, Likely is north of 2-1, so maybe sprinkle a little bit of additional action on him as well. And honestly, you could maybe cash in with both. I know Lamar Jackson is riding the struggle bus right now, but this is a get right spot based on the ultra doughy and soft secondary that he is going to see of Cincinnati. Look at Andrews too, 29% red zone target share. That's top 5 in the NFL. And he has scored a touchdown in 3 of his last 4. He's getting some tush pushes as well. So that could be another way that he cashes via the hands or the legs. I say Mark Andrews spikes home a turkey, baby. Anytime touchdown on the primetime lights on Thanksgiving night against those Bungles at a plus 115. Again at BetMGM. And I know what you want because you're a greedy bastard. Yeah, the team was parlay play. And let's stretch it out over all 3 games. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of detail here because I wrote about it on the gamingjuice.com. So if you want all the gory details, by all means, pick up a knife and fork and dig in for free on my site. I'm going to do a little 3-legger over the entire day. Game number 1, give me Jahmyr Gibbs in the alt market, 70 plus rushing receiving yards. I mean, this is a fraction what it did last week. And I know we didn't achieve that in week one, but Green Bay has shown they are a little bit susceptible in the trenches here of late. And Gibbs can obviously beat you in the pass game as well. So I think he'll get there. Play number 2, give me CD Lamb, numero dos, 60+ receiving yards. A much tougher matchup for him based on the outstanding secondary of KC, but you got a total of 52. You know what that says? Pew, pew, pew. A lot of shootout appeal. So Lamb could earn us hopefully a winner there on the second leg. And leg numero tres, give me Jamar Chase. Also just 60+ receiving yards. Guy is owned. Guy is spanked. Guy has scorched the Baltimore Ravens in his career. You got no T. Higgins. I mean, it's not an exaggeration. I think this could be like a 15 to 20 target game with Joe Burrow back at the controls. And Baltimore, they're just middle of the pack and drop back EPA defense. So they're not exactly locked down. So to recap, Thanksgiving Day only Team Huevos parlay play, 3-legger. Leg numero uno, Jameer Gibbs, 70+ rushing receiving yards. Leg numero dos, CD Lamb, 60+ receiving yards. And leg numero tres, Jamar Chase, also 60+ receiving yards. You work that out, plus 120. Built there at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, I am out of breath and out of time here on the Fade 5 podcast. Do me a favor, go to Betalytics and sign up for an account right stinking now. Use that promo code JUICE. Again, promo code JUICE for 25% off their awesome projections, including player props, and they do it across all kinds of sports, and now including college basketball as well. As you guys know, is my absolute jam. And go again to my website, thegamingjuice.com. Get lost in the sauce. I'm cranking all kinds of content every single week. I'm really a one-man band. I got all my rankings there, all of my column pieces award-winning. I'm most decorated writer in fantasy sports history, whether it's fantasy, whether it's betting, whether it's the takes from my friends who cover college football as good as anybody, Matt Fortuna, Ben Wittenstein, and Nate Jacobson. Nate Lundy's spreadsheet also there. You get it all. You can ask me a question. I'll get back to you, and I don't charge you a dime at thegamingjuice.com. Finally, before we get out of here, drop us a rating and review at your convenience. Also, fade or follow us. I can follow Lundy on the X at Nate Lundy. Follow me at Noisy Huevos. Have an awesome Thanksgiving. Enjoy the tryptophan-induced coma, and maybe when you wake up, you'll be counting your winners and hopefully be on Rashee Rice with the most receiving yards in the game at plus 265. I got all kinds of bets that I will be populating on my spreadsheet, the NFL, and of course, in college basketball, where we're already rocking and rolling on the season. A little bit down this week, but up over 20 units so far on the young year. So again, I get it all for free at thegamingjuice.com. Have an awesome Thanksgiving. I'm going to go pour myself a tequila, sit back, relax, and absorb all of the sports action in the obscene amount of calories. Gobble, gobble. Until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you. Don't be a turkey.